Alright guys, just a little hit and run mission today. It's already 12 o'clock. There's a bit of swell out there, but it's dying down. There's been no wind today, but there's a bit of a blow yesterday. No trip booked, so I'm just going to go out for a couple of hours now, give these two rods a little dabble. I've got a Power 1 and a Power 2 Palmaris P Plus jigging rods here, both with Shimano O'Shea jiggers, 1500 HGs. This one's a limited, that's the F Custom. This has got 25 pound Sunline Siglon X8 on it, and this one's got 25 pound Sunline Ultra Jigger, so that's a 4 strand. This one's an 8 strand, so you can feel the difference. It'd be nice to get a comparison between the two. This one being the Power 1, I've got a slimline jig on it, so it won't load the rod so much. That's the Black Mac Slammer. It's a new colour coming out soon. Just to quickly show you, that's how I rig them, with a swivel onto the split ring. I also put hooks on the bottom on a long jig. Often the fish will hit this end as the jig's going backwards, so they'll hit those hooks. It's quite important. This rod being the Power 2, I've got a slightly wider jig because it will load the rod slightly more. It's still 150 gram. That's the Joker Imp, rigged in the same way, and I put 4 hooks on that as well, just to make sure. So just a little window of opportunity. I'm going on my own, so I've got my life jacket on, and I'll probably go 10-15 miles, see what it's like, hit a wreck or two, and I'll be filming some of that while I'm out there. Thank you. Outside Torbay now, a little bit of chop and breeze, and a little bit of leftover swell, it's not too bad. It's certainly not classy, but I'm able to do 20 knots, 19-20 knots, so that's good enough for the minute. So the tide's ebbing, it's going to be going in a southwesterly direction, and we've got a kind of southerly breeze and chop, so it's going to be wind against tide. It's not ideal at all, but I'll have to get the boat just right so I can just fish a little window of vertical time. You need the jig, the line to be vertical, the jig to fall freely on a slack line. If you're away on an angle, forget it. You know, you're cutting down your chances massively, and you're more likely to snag. Slow it down, creep around the edge of the wreck, put it where I think it's going to go. And I've got set up with two rods, both with 150 gram jigs on, and we're in nearly 60 metres here, so that sort of weight jig is okay on a calmer day. Today those jigs will stream away, but I'm still going to drop the slim one down, the Slammer, because it's a nice jig, and I want to try this new colour that's going to be coming out soon, the Black Mac. It's a nice natural colour with a black side, bit of silver, bit of gold, bit of green and blue. I'm keen to give that a little go to start with, but I might have to up the weight on it.
All stations, this is the Coast Guard, Maritime Safety.
So I don't want to be too far away from the wreck because I know my jig's going to stream away. Where I am am now is a little too close. It's right on the edge already, so I just want to turn the boat a bit more, get the wind coming into the starboard side, and then turn the engines to starboard so the boat doesn't get turned. It'll drift side on into the wind then. Let's just see which way we go before I turn the engines off. Okay, so the boat is going with the tide, look, southwesterly. So the tide's stronger than the wind, but the jig will still stream down that line, the heading line, because that's the way the tide's going to take it. It's about right for the tide, but the breeze is slowing the boat down, so the jig's going to travel faster than the boat. So I want to bring the boat back up here and drop in and fish this section of the wreck, the early part of the wreck to start with. I haven't started fishing yet, but when I set the boat up the way I wanted it, the wind's picked up a little bit. Instead of drifting this way, it drifted across that way. So I've come here, turn into the wind. Wind's coming this way, tide's going that way, and it's pushing me sideways. So I'm going to fish out the side of the boat here. But I don't want to stream too far, I want to fish vertically. So I'll wait until the boat gets to about here. A little bit further, then I'll drop my jig in. So I'll go and turn the other camera on, which is over there. Straight into a snag, first drop. I've only got one of those jigs. Lucky. That's that drift over and done with. I've got the jig back. It's the only one I've got in this colour. I've got some en route now. It's a new colour. Something a bit different. All okay. That's good. An important thing to do when you're jigging is to find out what your jig behaves like. With short twitches, with long lifts, with fast long lifts, with slow lifts. When the water's nice and clear, you can just drop it down and watch it 2 or 3 metres below the surface. Do different things with it, see how it behaves. Throwing it up there a little way because that's the way it wants to go in the tide. The boat's been held in the wind and we're sliding across the tide going backwards. The wreck's here. We're already on the edge of the wreck. So I'm dropping down on top of the wreck, not the seabed. And you see my line will go away, and I don't want it to go away. I want to catch the fish directly below me because that's where I get the best action. just into the pink line. Blue's just gone out. Right in the middle of the wreck. And that's the fish. Thought it was a wreck to start with. Feels like quite a nice fish. The next drift I do, I won't let the jig out to the pink braid because it was right at the end of the blue going into the pink was on top of the wreck. So I'll keep an eye on the blue, and before I get to the end of the blue, a couple of metres before it runs out, I'll stop it, and then that way I'll never touch the wreck. Just get close enough to it. This feels like quite a nice fish. First proper drift. The other drift didn't count because I got snagged straight away. This is the Power 1 P+ Palmaris rod. This fish might be foul hooked. Or the jig, because it's got 4 hooks, the jig could have wrapped around into the side of the fish. Feels like a very heavy dead weight. Occasional kicks. Fish is over there. Yeah, he's got a bit foul hooked. His eyes have popped a little bit, so I don't think he'll go back. I'll keep that one. Always want to use pliers. Black Mac Slammer, 150 gram. Not good conditions for jigging, but because I'm timing it right, I'm still pretty vertical. So keep the drift short. I'll go around again. I'm already on the wreck, just running down through here. We're drifting across it, so I've just got a little patch here that I'm going to fish. My jig's coming into it now. The last time I hit the wreck and it was just on the pink. So the colour before the pink is the blue, just getting to that now. So if I stop it before we get to the end of the blue, I'll just miss the wreck. That was a fish. Got a slack line bite. Avoid the pink. But the wreck's a little bit higher here. I'm only halfway through the blue and I think it was touching. I think I've missed my chance now because we're just coming off the other side of the wreck. The fish are there. Well, my jig's not streaming. I don't know if you can see the line in the video there. I've got a very shallow or steep angle, I should say, which is good. Ideally it'd be 90 degrees to your rod, but going away a few metres doesn't hurt, but you don't want it 20 metres away down there. Useless. Okay, I'm off the wreck now, so I'll bring that up and we'll go around again. It's another good thing about a decent reel and keeping the spool nice and full. I've just brought that up 60 metres in that time. I'm just going to check my hooks because that one fell off. They're still needle sharp. Another thing you should do when you're jigging is just slow the spool down when you first throw the jig in. You don't want the jig swimming down, it'll take forever. So you slow it down, it tips the jig and then it'll dive straight down is what you want. Same as when you're jigging, you want the opposite. You don't want the jig being pulled by the line because it'll just go like this on the water. You want it to flutter on the free line then. Right on the wreck. Sure. I jigged that twice, 2 or 3 times, bang. Stripping a bit of line. Even though the conditions are challenging, I'm timing it all right. I know where the fish are, I'm getting to them with a vertical line. They're even seeing the jig come down on top of them. It's deadly. You can drop your jig right into them, it's bang on. This is my 4th drift on this wreck. So last drift I lost one. Drift before I caught one, and the first drift I got snagged. Pollock. Nice pollock. He's been hooked before. Nope. Not so lucky today. We don't want to go back. So I'm liking this new colour. It's the Joker Slammer and the black mat. It's getting well battered already, scratching around on the deck there. fish are just there. That's where the wreck is. And a little patch there. If I had lure guys fishing on the boat, I'd be up there with the boat drifting across. Stay line can go away. And they've got a weight, they've got a boom, they've got a lure. They've not got the same refined braid, so they'll be streaming away. So if I was fishing with lure guys, I'd be further up there, coming into where the fish are here. Jigging, I'm closer to them because I want the vertical line going into the fish. We're already on top of the rack, so I don't want the blue to run out. See? The slammer is good with short little pitches like this. It's alright with quite fast long ones and long falls. And you're always watching that line for a slack line bite, or if it pulls tight more quickly. Line's getting away now. Something's happened, so I think it's alright now. The jig caught itself. Sometimes the jig will come up and the rear hooks will catch the line. You'll notice the difference. The jig will feel different. It will sink more slowly. Something's not quite right there. The drift's already over now. Coming off the wreck again. That's what it was. Thought it felt different.